It's the day of the show.
Hello everybody, Billy Tucci here, and I want you all to know that Fantastic Comics in Berkeley is the best effing comic shop in the United States of America, maybe the world! Booyah!
That's the T-C.
It's a pleasure working with you.
Well, you dirt-eating piece of slime, you scum-sucking pig, you son of a motherless goat.
Who are you? Wherever there is injustice, you will find us. Wherever there is suffering, we'll be there. Tell us we will die like dogs. What? Tell us we will die like dogs.
You will die like dogs. No, we will not die like dogs. We will fight like lions, because we are the Free Amigos!
What's up, Doc?
My mama done told me bring home something for dinner.
For dinner? What's cooking? What's it you looking for?
Oh, don't tell me now, don't tell me. It's a rabbit.
Yes, that's fine, but I would like to focus on my acting, Mr. Weathers. I did give you my last $1,100.
I'll tell you a little story about acting. I was doing the Showtime movie, Hot Ice, with Ann Archer. Never once touched my per diem. I go to craft service, get some raw veggies, bacon, cup of soup. Maybe I had a stew going.
All right, I'm turning the lights on. Okay, open them.
Oh, wow! Wow, what a swell place to work.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I got the key, so I just come in, read comics, play music.
You worked here a long time?
Almost 4 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I know, but it's not so bad. I mean, I'm pretty friendly with most of the customers, so I just hang out, bullshit, read comic books.
This is where he every day wearing a necklace like this, and he's in this urn.
Is his ashes?
Yeah, his ashes right here and here. Yep. So both of my grandpas are here.
What's that other thing on the necklace?
It's a Punisher emblem.
What's that about?
I like the Punisher just because he's he takes his the law into his own hands to punish the people that wronged him.
Hot stuff coming through.
Dad, why did you bring me to a gay steel mill?
I don't know. This is a nightmare. You're all sick.
Oh, be nice.
Oh, my son doesn't stand a chance. The whole world's gone gay.
Thank you, Hetty, thank you.
It's not Hetty, it's Hedley Lamar.
The hell are you worried about? This is 1874. You'll be able to sue her.
Say, would you like a chocolate-covered pretzel?
They're a little melty, but damn are they exquisite. And if I remember correctly, you're a big pretzel fan.
Dark chocolate.
Yeah?
No.
Oh, come on.
No,
They're
please.
awesome.
No.
Here you go.
Thank you. Oh.
You, I can handle it. I'm ready to be a man.
Oh, listen to him. He's like his old man. But he's too young for someone named Destiny. He should be with a Pam or a Pamela.
You're a Pammy, maybe.
Pammy? The boy's not ready for a damn Pammy.
Honey, we have confronted our homophobia, and so has everyone else in town.
Well, thanks to your mother's tireless efforts, spreading the word about your homosexuality, calling people and writing people and putting your picture up on telephone poles and buying bus stop bench ads and starting an online chat service all about you and your gayness. Oh, shut up! I'm not gay! You two made my life miserable in this town! I hate you!
Oh.
You gay bastard! No gay son of mine isn't not gay! You better get gay or I'll make you gay!
All right, come out to our blast out. For shame, Doc. Hunting rabbits with an elephant gun.
Elephant gun?
That's right, Doc. So why don't you go shoot yourself an elephant? You do, and I'll give you such a pinch.
We're going to start our volleys. We hope you like the show. Everything is ready. We're raring to go. We'll give you all the latest songs and then we'll pull up them. We're gonna start with hot shots. Just watch this chorus steps.
Originally settled as Ocean View during the 1850s, the city's population boomed with displaced
But in my own way, I am king. Hail to the king, baby.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fantastic Comics Presents. This is our 220th consecutive Tuesday getting together with all of you live at 8 o'clock. Maybe I should just do this.
My name is Yule Carter, comic book retailer in Berkeley, California.
That's right. I own a comic book store. I chat way longer over the course of an 8-hour day there than I do for the hour and a half here or so. Talking about comics, talking about, all the stuff that happens in a comic store, talking about comic books, talking about what my customers talk about, and some of the chitter chatter that's out there, and also sometimes having a guest on. And tonight we will be. But if you want to come and see me live, come in on a Wednesday through Sunday, 12 to 5 p.m. and blah, blah, blah. We'll talk comics. I think we should just introduce our guest right now. and then we'll go through all our silly stuff, and then we'll get into the stuff that we really want to talk about.
You have that look about you.
One that says I need a drink.
One that says you need a positive review.
We're fellow travelers, warriors of words, soldiers of syntax, pugilists of prose.
Writers.
Fucking writers. Hey, Joe, how's it going?
It's going okay. How are you?
Wonderful. I was not riding a bike, and I don't know if you saw that video, but I'm going to play it without the music. The important thing is look at the left. Okay, so right there. Oh, that bicyclist stops. Did you see that? Did you see it again, everybody? Look at that.
Nope.
He stops. Oh, and falls down. And it's like he didn't get hit, but he would have. And then he just walks it across the street. And the other guy rides. I like that. My customer caught that on his goddamn camera in his car.
Oh my god.
And probably, the Chinese have that now, and they're going to use that against us somehow. I'm sure you'll be writing a comic book about that someday, right?
I mean, what was it? That just reminds me. What was it? I think it was in the Simpsons episode, season 6, the Homer Bad Man, where Willie is the one who proves that Homer's innocent because he was filming like a pervert, and then he gets in trouble, and they start, and then it ends with Marge going, "Well, our court system may not work, but as long as we're constantly monitoring each other, everything's gonna be okay."
All right. Someone write that down and let me know about that. We'll clip it. We'll clip the funny scene. Maybe not the preachy scene, but
Yeah.
No, I like that stuff.
Yeah.
That reminds me of Sea Guy. Did you ever read that?
I don't know if I did. Which one was that?
That's Grant Morrison, Vertigo. Cameron Stewart, I think, was on art.
Oh yeah. I don't think I've read that. I've read a ton of Morrison, but I don't think I read that one.
They have this amusement park, and it's called Mickey Eye, and it's a whole eyeball theme thing. And of course, there's people watching you from underneath the sewers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Yeah.
So Joe is a comic book writer. He also edits comics and gets like a whole bunch of people together and does like crowdfunded stuff sometimes also, right?
Yeah, and it might be time to crowdfund something maybe later this year too. We'll see.
For yourself personally?
There is a horror, like a psychological horror one-shot kind of thing I want to do. And that might be the best option because a lot of publishers don't really do like creator-owned one-shots. I don't think most publishers really, like it's a hard thing, I think, to market sometimes. Like, it's just a one-shot creator-owned from like a couple of guys, and like what's the so I get it, but
do you remember when Dark Horse used to have a lot of different people work on them? I mean, eventually it became the same type of people, but they had a bunch of different voices that would be in like Dark Horse Presents.
Yep.
And we had other companies like that, but everybody's trying to, it feels like a lot of the companies are just trying to create that thing that's going to keep everything going, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there's a lot of, I think a lot of the companies right now are they're still doing well enough where it's not to a point where I think a lot of people are wanting to do anything too risky, or they're at least at a point where they're like, well, we'll wait to see the person who does take, or the company that does take the big risk, and then we'll see how that works out, and we will learn from that one way or the other. Like I think we're kind of at that point.
Right. What are your free comic book day plans this year?
I should be signing at Fourth World Comics and Smithtown, probably a little later in the day. I think Scott Snyder is signing earlier in the day, like 10 a.m. to 12 or something like that. So, if you miss Scott, you might be able to find me. So,
Yeah. Well, you might as well. I mean, he's a talker anyway, isn't he? So it's gonna probably be a little bit.
oh yeah, he might do that. He might go and come back. I mean, who knows?
Who knows? All right, so excellent. I want to let everybody know that we are going to be open for Free Comic Book Day, and you can see our renovations. I showed some pictures yesterday or last week on the show, but this week I'm showing a flyer that I'm going to be distributing for Free Comic Book Day.
Ooh.
And it's also kind of doubles as our birthday because we open on May 1st. So we're gonna have like music in the dungeon, and it should be a pretty fun night for people that want to come afterwards. Come back with the flyer.
Nice.
Yeah, that should be a fun night. And we're gonna have, of course, comic book day during the day, but I'm not having any signing because I don't even know how I'm gonna make this work because there's such limited space. I mean, this is like really, really, really underground.
Yeah.
Anything happening that isn't comic book related in your life? What's going on, man?
Yeah, I mean, plenty of non-comic book related stuff. What was it over the weekend? I was cat sitting for Martha Thomas's, who co-created Dakota North, which is comics related. But I went and saw The People's Joker, which is also comics related, but it's not. I guess it's that fan film that came out the other day with like trans Joker and like trans man Jason Todd, and it's all like, and like Bob Odenkirk is a voice of a character, is like the voice of Perry White in it, and then like Maria Bamford and Tim Heidecker and like Scott Ackerman show up. Like it's a weird fucking movie. It's
where do you go and see that? Is it on Hulu?
I saw it in theaters. I went to the IFC Center because I'm a movie snob like that. But
so I'll just go on the Pirate Bay and see if I can find it there or something, right?
Yeah, I don't know where it's streaming yet, but yeah, it was just like a ridiculous over the top, and it was really critical of Lorne Michaels of all people too. Like very, very interesting. But
yeah, fuck Saturday Night Live. You know what I mean? Fuck 'em.
Right. So
Odenkirk, he talks shit about them all the time. Well,
yeah,
at least for a minute he did.
Speaking of that, did you hear that what was it? Heidi Gardner and Zeb Wells split?
I don't know anything about any of that.
So
explain it to a stupid person. Explain it to me.
So Zeb Wells was married to Heidi Gardner, who's a cast member of SNL.
Oh, I see.
And they apparently recently split. So
I wonder how that went. I mean, like, you're fucking around in comics, and even I can't stand this stuff. And she's like, I gotta leave. Gots to leave. It's like, well, I can't stand what you've done with Spider-Man. I'm out.
Jesus. But no, that's I'm trying to think. So I did that, and then I know I did something else that day. Like oh yeah, after God, why am I? Oh, and then after that, I went with my friend Molly, who I edited that Mine anthology for Planned Parenthood with. But we went out to this immersive theater like experience. It was called The Worst Cafe, and it had originally premiered in Belfast, and it's in New York for a bit before it goes to Philly. And it's this cafe where you order scenes from different plays, and then they mash up the scenes. So it's like, oh, they're doing this bit from Cabaret, and now they're doing Waiting for Godot. Whoa! Like it was like one of those kind of things.
Oh
It's
wow,
like some
that's crazy.
real hipster shit. And then what was it? Oh my god, it gets worse because then Friday I went to this a friend of mine's magic themed one-man show. Nelson Lugo presents Gathering the Magic. And it's like an hour and a half one-man show, but he's a magician, so there's like there's all that elements to it too. And I just also want to put out there that I've been to multiple friends one-man shows over the years, which I believe means that no matter what else I do in life, I will achieve nirvana.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I mean, going to a friend's one-man show once, I feel like you could get away with literal murder. Like, they'll be like, how horrible can this man be? He went to a friend's one-man show.
You're so right.
so I think I'm pretty good. If people ever try to cancel me, I'd be like, have you ever been to a friend's one-man show? I've been to multiple friends one-man shows. There's no way you're better than me. No fucking way. So
well,
yeah.
I can't say I've done one-man shows, but I've seen like plays, plays put on, whether through like college, high school, outside of that in a church. It's kind of a weird place, but it's got a stage.
Yeah, no, so and then I went out to drinks after because some of my friends were also at the show. Nerdcore rapper Schaefer the Dark Lord, if anyone's familiar with him. I've seen him open for MC Chris. I'm just saying. But no, so in Brooklyn, I can't believe they have bands like that playing in Brooklyn of all places. But yeah, we went out for drinks after, and he's dating this girl Bunny Buxom, who's a burlesque performer. That's not a real name. Like, her legal name on like her ID isn't Bunny Buxom. But no, it's good to catch up with her. And then God, there was just a lot recently. I'm trying to think, what the fuck did I do? Oh, and then Sunday, I went to Sleep No More for like the 13th time because it's closing soon. And I took this friend of mine, Jack, with me. Jack and I knew each other over a decade ago, but then he moved out of the state. We lost touch. He came, we got back in touch this past January, and I was just like, it's crazy. I wanted to go with you to Sleep No More all those years ago. It didn't work out. It's closing soon. This is a sign. Let's go see Sleep No More. So we did, and he had a great time. I knew he was going to have a good time because I take the time to listen and understand a person and then recommend activities that they would actually like. I'm not one of those fucking schmucks that just goes around and tries to shove whatever they like down other people's throats and expect them to have a good time. Just saying.
Yeah, I kind of do that in the comic store. I don't want to just recommend something that I like, let's say.
Yeah.
I don't, or just because I have multiple copies of it or anything like that. I feel bad when something sucks, and but it's not my job to say so. It's one thing to be negative. You don't want to really do that, but
yeah,
I want to illustrate the positive things about things, and I want people to want to listen to what I have to say and understand that I'm not just going to throw garbage their way, and I do want to have that. I do want to have that connection with, I feel like I do with my audience. The thing is you got to get to know me just like I have to get to know them. And the longer it goes, the easier it is. Speaking of, yes.
I also got to say, I finally watched Neil Breen's Cade the Tortured Crossing last night. Neil Breen is one of the worst filmmakers alive right now, but he's been making movies for a little while, and this is his most recent movie. It came out last year. Finally watched it yesterday. It's terrible, but it was.
He's the guy with the hair. It's kind of like he's balding, but has that It's like
Are you talking about the long-haired, like the long black-haired guy?
I don't know.
That's...
I don't know who I'm thinking of, but I see them on Red Letter Media. This guy's
Oh
stuff.
yeah. No, Neil
The
Breen's been
Breen
on Red
guy.
Letter Media before.
He
Yeah,
does like
He
kind of
does-
like transcendental bullshit, and it all looks very
Yes.
videotapey and
Who
everything.
am I? What am I? Like that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's so good. So Cade the Tortured Crossing is actually a sequel to his 2018 film Twisted Pair. But personally, I don't
And
think
he's always
he
trying to score with chicks in these movies too, right? Or something.
He is, but like he's always like with attractive women, but he never has to try to get them. That's already happened. Like they're already like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we don't have to suffer that.
Yeah.
that
No, but no,
indignity for that poor lady.
it was great. And yeah, I did see that Red Letter Media did cover it recently. I'm a big Red Letter Media fan. They were not as into this particular one. I still found it to be really great in how terrible it was. The dance scene, incredible, and the climactic fight at the end was so embarrassing. It was so deeply embarrassing. I loved it so much.
All right, hold on. But you saw it in a theater with multiple people there, right?
No, that one I saw with a friend of mine, Nate. We just you know, we
What is this a rental? Is this what this is? Or
yeah, this week we got it on. Yeah, we got it online, and
okay,
and you know, did that. Yeah. But whereas the People's Joker I went and saw in the theaters. I'm also you know what else I did recently? The other weekend, so not this past weekend, the weekend before, I went to a 45th anniversary Dawn of the Dead screening.
Ooh.
And that was great because Galen Ross, who plays Fran in the film, and Christine Forrest Romero were also in attendance. We picked up. I went with my brother James, and we got posters. They signed the posters. They did a Q&A. Christine Romero multiple times was like, "All you guys, you like the pie fight scene. I hated the pie fight scene, but I guess you people like it." So, it was so fucking funny. I loved it.
Damn, man. That sounds like it's great living in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Just like going around doing all sorts of crazy stuff.
No, I mean that's the nice thing about New York. Yeah. I mean, like there's always like weird shit going on where it's just like you'll just get like a buddy or something who will just be like, "Hey, what are you doing Saturday at 2:00? They're doing a special balloon museum exhibit." And you're just like, "I don't know what the fuck that is, but sure, I'll go. I've never been to a balloon museum." Like it's stuff like that. It's great.
You got to be willing to do stuff. Obviously, you can do things like that. I mean, there's a lot of people that are just shut-ins, right?
No, I love that stuff. Like a friend, like because I get friends like friend Molly. Like I think it was last year, was just like, "You want to go to that mall by the Javits Center? They've got an exhibit of art made from cans." And I was just like, and it's just all over the mall. They've just got all these can sculptures. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll go see can sculptures. Why not?
I remember when Berkeley was a little bit more arty. It was a lot more arty. They're just erecting tall buildings now. And it's such a weird place.
Yeah. No,
we used to have theaters. We used to have theaters. We have some music that gets performed at a theater, but there used to be like movies being shown. There are none out here right now. And we used to have like 4 or 5, like within like 6 blocks. It's like but
no, I hate that. But like, but yeah, like the other week too. It's probably more like a couple of months ago. I'm just trying to, maybe like a month and a half ago. I went to this other immersive theater show with a few of my friends. It was a combination of immersive theater and like afternoon tea. So like you're supposed to be infiltrating this cult, and then you have to solve puzzles at your table, and each puzzle you solved unlocked the next step of afternoon tea. So first you unlock the tea, then the finger sandwiches, then the scones, then the desserts. So, that was another.
I wonder where I'd be
fun little
stuck,
thing.
like in the appetizers or something.
Yeah, but it's like it's stuff like that. It's I'm trying to think, but yeah, just all sorts of fun stuff like that. What was it? In a couple of weeks, there's a screening of Dario Argento's opera. I've never seen it on the big screen. I love that movie, so I'm probably gonna go see that. Just stuff like that. And I keep an eye out if there's something crazy playing at a movie theater to just be like, yeah, fuck it, I'll go see that. So
I disparage Berkeley. We do have some live action and also performance places still. It's not quite the same as it used to be, is all I'm saying. As
No,
is
it's great.
everything,
I've gotten to go to some concerts recently. I went and saw what was it? It was the headliner was Snow Strippers, which are fucking great. And then the openers were was it Susie Shear, Slimecedo, and Dress, because Joe's down with the new music. So just
All
in
right.
case, like,
Yeah. I can't wait.
Yeah. And then back in like February, I went and saw Ghost Cop and Corinne. That was great. It's nice getting to do that kind of stuff. I love just seeing that kind of stuff. When I was in Dublin in March for like a few days or so, and I got tickets and I saw a show at the Abbey Theater. It was a sad story about like generational traumas, very Irish. Did that, went to all these museums. I went and saw what was it, a stand-up comic, like this guy Shane Daniel Byrne. I was just like, I want to see an Irish comic, so I went and did that. I went and saw a bunch of local bands play at like the Workman, which is just like the local divey sort of music venue there. Just all that kind of stuff, because it's like, just fucking do stuff, like, Jesus.
All right, Joe, you have an amazing life. Congratulations. I remember being young.
Thank you. It's
congratulations,
not bad.
still being young.
I highly recommend, if you haven't tried being under 40 before, go for it. Just go for it. Don't let people tell you you can't be under 40. Just do it.
Sometimes when I was under 40, I'd go to wrestling shows. All right, I just want to get this one out of the way quick because everybody's waiting for it. And if anybody is, that is. I didn't really do anything other than watch Raw. I think we watched SmackDown. Stuff happened. Big deal. Becky Lynch is the new champion of Raw's women. Yeah, that was a big deal because Rhea Ripley got injured and they had this really horrible battle royale. Anytime you're claiming a real champion off of one of those, it's kind of you want to at least have a 1, 2, 3 or something.
Sure.
AEW had a big old pay-per-view on Sunday, and there was a lot of matches. Swerve Strickland is champion now. The expectation is that Will Ospreay will take that off him as soon as they go and do their London pay-per-view. Either way, there's going to be a swerve. And that's it. I don't have any more. Do you have anything to say about wrestling this week?
Not this week. I'm behind on that. I've been too busy being a different kind of hipster recently.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, me too. That's it. That's the wrestling minute. WrestleMania was really good. There was some really good, powerful, emotional matches. It'll make a man cry in his heart.
Nice.
And it was pretty good. There was some garbage as there usually is, but that's the wrestling I've cared about lately.
It's like, it's a little crazy. Like, does WrestleMania need to be 2 days?
Well, it would be like an 8-hour show. And now they can have like 2 5-hour shows.
Yeah.
I agree. It doesn't need to be, but the way it works, they did it to crowd out. So what would happen is WrestleMania was such a big deal that all these other promotions would come to the surrounding areas and have really great, awesome, not WrestleMania shows. Like they had that kaiju wrestling one, and PWG would be, do something. And if not them, it was like Shikara. And so like a bunch of those really cool promotions that the Fed wouldn't ever possibly have until they did. But what they do now is they just have 2 nights, and then Ring of Honor can't come in and have a really good show because they're getting bounced to a night that isn't the WrestleMania night, or it isn't the NXT night, or it isn't the whatever night, Hall of Fame night, or however the hell they want to do it. So WrestleMania has really done a really good job of becoming like a Super Bowl type atmosphere. But a Super Bowl, you get 2 weeks, and WrestleMania, it's like a week though strong, without a doubt.
It's fair. I get it.
I don't know if you can hear that banging, but it's I don't know what the hell is going on.
A little bit, just a little bit.
It's throwing me off just a little bit, but I understand. You gotta open a can or something like that. All right, so this is so we've done the wrestling minute. Let me say this to all of our guests out there live right now.
Hello. 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 Look out. Hello.
All right. First up was actually poor Eric O'Sullivan. It got bounced off. Too bad for you. Let's see here. Elitha Lore already ordered my copy of King Arthur and the Knights of Justice from my LCS. You guys, I was going to lead so beautifully to it, but we'll be talking about that in a little bit, of course. I got to admit, I did not watch. I watched like just a few minutes of the cartoon. I just couldn't sit down and watch the cartoon. I wanted to know, like, I had so many questions. So we'll get to that. Lane.
Yeah.
Man, is Joe ready to get blood hunted? I wonder. Lane reads a lot of the mainstream crazy stuff and also gripes about it. And one of the big things is that there's got a zillion titles of Blood Hunt coming out.
Yep.
Will absolute power corrupt him as Yule as the summer months come about? I say, go. Let's do the absolute power. I want DC to offer returnability like they used to. Do it for the first 3 issues like they used to. And let's really like try and make something of this. What do you think?
I think that I think DC is doing a real great job.
All right, we'll be talking about them in a little bit too. I'll ask more pointed questions to Joe.
No, but yeah,
I'm not going to be going back to chat as much. So there is a super chat feature if you've got to ask a question of Joe, or get it in before I'm done scrolling through right now. Maranya, a rare Joe Corallo appearance without it being a memorial. That's true.
True. Rest in peace, Trina Robbins. But
that's right. We did that last week.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. It's a rare appearance for Maranya, Joe being on this show. Hey, Mr. Yule, can you confirm what issues I have on order with you? I think it's Blood Hunt #1 and the upcoming Blood Hunt Werewolf by Night #1 in July. I will confirm that is true. Comic Book Frog. Hey, it's Joe again. Well, I mean, Joe is
Hey.
my. Wait, did he see you, or did Comic Book Frog see you in something else?
I was streaming a little bit before, yeah.
Before right now?
Yeah, before this, I was with I was there with Breen, and we were just just shooting the shit and such.
Well, you guys are just talking to each other. It wasn't like were you on I Love Wait, what?
I guess I
I'm
love
so
whatever
confused.
the show is. That's fine.
I'm so confused. Really, you were over there, huh? Oh, I've only been over there once, and it was just to talk to Eric Breen for a few minutes.
Yeah, no, it was a good time.
I love talking to him or watching, but I
Yeah.
just don't usually have time to get on.
No, I got it.
All right, Elithaler says, "Yo, Joe." Adam Frey says it's Jeff Goldblum. Yes, it is.
True.
Lane Kramer asks, "What we need is what if Becstar met the X-Men?"
Sure.
Do we need that?
I'd write
you're not
it.
going to get Dwayne Muth. Hello, Yule and Joe in chat. Well, hello to you. Eric Breen. Hello.
Whoa.
Fantino says, by the way, that cyclist was a she. LOL. Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to. Yule, since you sort your books alphabetically at your store, which is your favorite letter to sort? Mine is A. Ooh, Lupo. That's a good question. I know that the S's are a pain in the ass. You can do, especially if you do family type stuff. Usually I don't, but with Spawn I do, except for Sam and Twitch. I don't know why I do what I do sometimes, but no, I think S's for the most part. If X-Men was great, I would probably be all into that. The problem is that you get Superman, you get Spider-Man. That's all I really need if I'm reading mainstream stuff. Then you get all the other stuff. Most comics probably start with like a W. All the alternatives. You got to ask a real long sentence question. Yeah. Anyway. Joe, a question for you. I'm curious, how do you prefer reading and collecting your event comics? Crossover between monthly stories or self-contained miniseries with lots of one-shots?
Oh boy. If I had to choose a self-contained miniseries with one shots, I want to be able to continue on with whatever ongoing I'm on without it being interrupted.
Yeah, I agree. I like that too. Everybody likes to say that Secret Wars was the event book, and although it was a large miniseries that was of event status, it didn't really affect the other books. I mean, it did, but it didn't.
Yeah.
As far as you didn't have to read it. You had to read it, but you didn't have to read it. RLM just did the new Breen movie. So there you go.
Yeah, nice.
All right. What? Joshua McDonald? I was watching your show, by the way. I just didn't want to get all typey because I was working on this one. Josh, you know what? Since we're talking for a second, let me just do this. My favorite channels. Pop by Culture. There's also some other ones that aren't comic book related.
Yeah.
I love Dungeons and Discourse. That one's a great show. Gotham City Comics. Can't wait to see Jacob Fatu on TV. Man, they got all those Samoans now on WWE. They are hitching their ride to the Samoan train, the Fatu and the Johnson families. Can you imagine? Do you know any of those people? You know who I'm talking about, right?
I know who you're talking about. I'm
Rock
just
and Roman Reigns and everybody. You can't trust these people. And I don't mean like any. I'm talking wrestlers.
Okay.
You can't trust those people. Everybody's related if they have to be. Mark McGrath says, Joe, everyone is talking about your new comic. Robbie, Josh, Aaron, and Drew, the Geeky Puppets, and now Yule. You got all the cool kids buzz. Guess I'll have to check it out.
I appreciate that.
But which one is the question? Is that the one we're talking about?
Well, this is the one that's out this week, but I can talk about
right.
I can talk about other stuff, but I can talk a little bit about the DC thing too.
Now here comes Maranya with the information. Joe was on the Geeky Puppet Show channel earlier to promote his book and other fun stuff. Awesome, the Geeky Puppet Show. You guys all read the comic books in funny voices and put in your little 2 cents also, right? Usually it's like old comic books, like, 60s, 70s, 50s.
Yeah, I did that recently, like I guess weeks or maybe a couple of months ago on an old X-Men issue, like a Stan and Jack one.
This is a true comic book fan. You can tell right here. Sam and Twitch can eat my chocolate starfish. The lettering is abysmal. And I cheers to you, Elithidor, on that one. A poorly lettered comic book is garbage. I mean, I'm sorry. It's just the way it is.
No, I got it.
And I mean, sometimes I was reading, oh God, what was I reading? Whatever. It was, I think it was a Marvel comic book. And they were using one of those like red caption boxes, and they were writing in it. And it's so hard to read for old people. Like you have to shine a flashlight on it so you can read that stuff. Again, for the information, Maranya says, yes, we read comic books there. I am the current voice for the Thing. Excellent. Who's the comic book character that I would most suit, do you think, if I was going to be on the Geeky Puppet Show? Who do you think I've heard stuff about, like the fish in Finding Nemo. There's a fish or something. Maybe it's a different creature. I don't know. I didn't see it. Some laid back kind of dude character or something like that.
Personally, I'd like to see like your take on like Nick Fury.
Cool. Yeah, who knows? Did you read that comic book I told you about?
I don't think I've gotten to it yet.
Don't worry about it. That's cool. It just takes so much time. Mother's Basement is wonderful, but it's just not something I like going into as much. Lane Kramer, man, I am looking at some absolute editions right now. Looking at the Superman for all seasons. Yeah, you are looking at that, but I want to let you know what you're going to be looking at in the future. I just heard that they're doing the omnibus editions of Superman, the Triangle years.
They are.
Holy shit. You mean they're going to be all the triangles in one book and then consecutive books going forward? It's going to be like a 7 or 9 or 10 or 12 volume set.
Yeah.
You better not have an edition of it right now.
No, I have my All-Star, not also the Superman for all seasons, Absolute, which I love and was signed and remarked in by Jeff Loeb here.
He's a nice guy. He's fun.
Yeah. No, he's really nice. He's and seriously, I do really like Superman for all seasons.
It's one I've never read, but I've read a lot of Jeff Loeb.
Yeah, no, it's a really good one. I like it.
Spider Guy says, I hate when they overuse bolt print in dialogue. Okay, very good. Spider Guy let me know about the printing process, and we were talking about all the different layers and the important I wanted to make a shirt that said "White Layers Matter" because he said "White Layers Matter." You know, it's I don't know because I don't do T-shirt bullshit. You know what I mean? But I just it sounds so funny. It's a print joke. You know, I remember they would do buttons that say "Pardon me, modem." You know, at computer conventions.
Yeah.
Lane thinks I would be a good mojo. And Marania says, yeah, Nick Fury, either Shield or better Sergeant Fury era. All right, excellent.
Yeah. See that.
We got to talk. You'll be Nick Fury right after I get laryngitis. I guess Eric does that one. And lastly, Yule wants his Ultimates Volume 3. Now stop it. Stop it. I do not. All right, that's enough. See, that's why we don't want to really talk to the customers when it comes, too much. The audience, I mean. All right, so this is the segment of the show where we're going to talk about some new comic books. I have a video for that. I just got to find it. Oh, maybe I got rid of it. I don't know.
Why, we sell a dozen a day in this price range.
Who buys them? Tax collectors?
Even if I had to pay, it would be worth it. Just for the occasion.
What, is something big going on somewhere?
What's going on right here? It's a big night.
Well, it's just an old run-of-the-mill Wednesday. Well, the calendar's full of them.
That's right. What do you think about Rear Window?
I love Rear Window.
It's one of my all-time favorites. Top 5. Got it up.
Top 5
for me personally. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that movie. Honestly, all 4 of the Jimmy Stewart Hitchcock films are good movies. You know, like I think Rope is really underrated when it comes to Hitchcock. I think that one's phenomenal. But yeah, obviously Vertigo. And I like The Man Who Knew Too Much. I know it's a remake and this and that, but I thought that was a really fun movie. All 4 of those are great. All 4 of the Cary Grant Hitchcock films are great too.
I love Suspicion.
Yeah,
that's the one.
Oh, Suspicion's really good. Yeah,
dude, Suspicion is the bomb, man. Oh, geez, Louise. I can't put too many of the same type of movies in my top, because I want to have a nice diversity so that top 5 is important, in my life. And I've never completed my top 5. I have a few other movies, but there's always that top spot.
Yeah. I don't know what my top 5 would be, but I do feel like I think Chinatown would probably be on it. I think
it's a whole watching.
Yeah, that's up there. The Third Man would definitely be high up there. Yeah, I mean, and then it gets tough too. Like, Seven Samurai might be up there.
Well, see, I definitely put Young Frankenstein also in it. So now I have a comedy.
Yeah.
I can't remember what all the other movies are, but it's hard. You don't want to. I don't want to fill that up because when I'm ready to push the button, that's like I'm sealing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's probably a Tarantino movie in that, but maybe not. I love that True Romance, and that's not actually even him. So, but if I'm going to do a violent movie, it's not going to be that.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
All right. So, but comic books are coming out tomorrow, everybody, and they steal from movies all the time. Let me tell you. And I just revamped my store, and one of the new racks is actually directly behind me, and that's where I'm keeping all the new important books of the week. They're going to always be the same important books until they are no longer important. So we're going to start with them right now. First up, I know it's hard to believe with everybody saying such horrible things about Zeb Wells and his Amazing Spider-Man, but just like around the world, this is one of your number 1 selling books, and it comes out tomorrow. And it was pretty good. Todd Knock actually this is my favorite stuff he does. He still does the faces that I kind of don't like, but he's trying to emulate Art Adams more. That's how I feel when I'm seeing it. It's like he's emulating something that's more than just the everyday run-of-the-mill Todd Knock. And this is a pretty good fill-in issue of Spider-Man. I don't hate the Ben Reilly character. Do you know anything about the Ben Reilly character?
What, Chasm?
Yeah, Chasm. So he's got he got memories wiped, and even the ones that he had were just Peter Parker's anyway, or were they really? I don't know, because I thought he was the real Peter Parker, but that was back in the 90s, so it really doesn't matter, I guess. He's a bad guy now because, why wouldn't you be? I'm pissed off. And he's got a girl that's like goading him into continuing to be a jerk, maybe. I don't know.
Sure.
Maybe she's a sap. I don't know. It's an okay issue. It's not that bad. I read it. Avengers number 13. It's an X-Men tie-in, everybody. So here you go, Joe. You're a guy that's like, man, I'm just so happy reading Avengers and I don't have to read anything else. And now here you go. You're reading Avengers and it's an X-Men tie-in. And all of a sudden, because you didn't put this on your hold list, you're like, wait, I don't have an Avengers to pick up this week. And I know it came out, but all the other X people came in and got their Avengers before you. How do you feel? Do you feel like I don't need to get that book because I didn't care, or I did care, or I should have put it on the hold?
Yeah, I mean, but who wouldn't want to get that issue? I mean, you look at that cover and you go, Iron Man's really big, huh?
Yeah.
I wonder why. And then you pick
He's
it up.
fucking everybody up too, man.
Yeah.
Why is that?
He shouldn't be that big. I need
That's
to know
right.
why. Yeah.
I've been reading it. It's Fei Long has taken control of the company, and he's doing Sentinels with Tony Stark tech.
Yeah.
Tony Stark has a new armor now that isn't owned by a jerk, and they're fighting. These are all comics, by the way. They're going to be situated right behind me at the front counter. So if you are like Joe and you didn't get that Avengers because you were really looking forward to getting it, it'll be behind me. So will Detective Comics. Ram V. I don't even know who the artist is. I'm not reading it. It's too much Batman for me. But I know you all like it in my store. All right, Ultimate Spider-Man number 4. Brand new artist for this series. After 3 issues, Chichetto is off for a minute, but David Messina, I think, is the illustrator. I've already read it. I've already looked at the art. Have you read this issue by any chance, Joe?
I haven't read this issue yet, no.
Are you caught up with Ultimate Spider-Man?
Up to 3, yeah.
All right, great. So there's going to be a dinner date. I don't know if you know this, and I'm not going to really spoil much for it, but I'm really looking forward to the illicit affair that's going to occur. But who's going to be doing it? That's the question. This is a real talky issue, but I thought it was great. Great character stuff. Jonathan Hickman does the really cool stuff. He does the thing where, you know how like Bendis does the pitter patter and it repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats? Jonathan Hickman takes a space off and then does the repeat. And it's usually a little bit more effective, and it plays out in this. I like it. Oh my gosh. Speaking of Jonathan Hickman, Gods came out. And this might be because it did. I mean, a $10 first issue with characters that nobody knows that are the leads doing stuff that isn't superhero smash and crash stuff. People actually based, I feel, their orders on Ultimate Spider-Man number 1 based on how poorly their Gods did. My Gods did great, and it still does great, and it's right behind me at the front counter. Rise of the Powers of X number 4 comes out. I know everybody hates the X-Men books, and nobody's happy about it, and everybody's happy, blah, 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 blah. Still sells good and it's sitting right behind me. Conan the Barbarian, Jim Zub. Have you been on one of those perk shows with Jim Zub before?
I have, yeah.
Is it? Now, seriously, I was, all right. All right, let's get real for a second here, Joe. Have you talked about any of the happenings in comic books that have happened in the last couple weeks, specifically talking about Ed Piskor on the internet?
I have not talked about
Is this
Ed
something you're
on the
comfortable
internet.
talking about?
I guess depends, but
You know, I saw a video today with Ted Rall. I can't stand Ted Rall, but you know, New York and Joe Corallo and Ed Piskor talking about, you know, stuff. I thought it was very interesting. Also, he has a friend that is on the show that he's with, and I guess one of them is left leaning and one of them is right leaning. If we were on a show together, Joe, who do you think's going to be the left one and who's going to be the right one?
Oh, geez, I don't know.
That's the hard-hitting questions I'm going to ask you in just another minute or two.
Sure.
Conan the Barbarian, Jim Zub, really nice guy. That's what I was getting at with like of all the things when you hear about the bad things of people, I think I would be really, really horrified if I found out about Jim Zub being like a serial killer or something like that. But you know, he is Canadian, and it might, you know, figure. So who knows?
Yeah.
X-Men 130. I did a Mother's Basement on this issue, and it was so easy. The John Byrne, Chris Claremont X-Men just flows so beautifully. I think we did a Days of Future Past.
We did Days of Future Past, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I fucked it up, but you were great.
Oh, you're fine.
Also behind me, X-Men Forever, because, you know, again, it's an X-Men book. And then these are the books that are going to be out on the floor so everybody can peruse. We've got a double-sized or triple-sized issue of Daredevil, so you're going to be paying more. This is Saladin Ahmed, and I don't know who's Cooter doing the art. TMNT ongoing 150, no more. Ongoing, no more. This is their last issue until Jason Aaron relaunches it. There's also going to be a black, white, and green because everybody likes doing black, white, and something. But this is the last issue, and it's going to be more expensive than normal. Green Arrow number 11. They said, hey, this is going to be a mini-series, and it's doing so well, we're going to make it a maxi-series, and it's doing so well, it's going to be an ongoing. I wonder if DC isn't thinking right now, maybe 15 issues, maybe 18 issues.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I'm not reading it. I like Joshua Williamson. I like Sean Isaac. He's still doing the art on it. I could care less. Yeah. It's just another book. I just can't invest the time. I haven't gone back and read the Mike Grell ones. How am I going to read this one? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Power Girl is going to be a Action Comics House of Brainiac Superman tie-in. This might be the first Leah Williams comic I've read since that X-Men annual she read when it was Kitty Pryde in her summer bungalow days or something like that.
All right.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Feral number 2 by Tony Fleece and some other person. Tony Fleece, that's the one everybody knows. I didn't read the first issue. I'm not a cat guy. Dutch number 3, Joe Casey. What? Joe Casey's writing. Simon Gaines doing the art. This is a 3-issue miniseries. I'm very excited for this last issue. I'm sad I haven't read it yet, actually. Joe's been on our show, I think, right after you've been on, or vice versa.
Yeah, no, he's great.
Yep. Night Thrasher number 3. All right, that comes out. I'm not a Night Thrasher guy. Batman Dark Age #2. I only read some of the first issue. I do like Mark Russell. I do like Mike Allred. I do not like Batman. So I only read a third of the book.
Mhm.
It was a good first part of the book, but can I get back to it is the question. I did like it though.
Nice. Yeah, I'm going to try to check that out at some point. I like the series they did.
Speaking of Joe Casey, Dan McDade, who does the art on Kneel Before Zod, a Joe Casey comic book for DC, is doing the art for a Matt Kent comic book. If you find this, I'm Already Dead, magazine sized, super awesome, on sold out of the other issues. Come in and get it because it's freaking awesome. And McDade won me over to like his stuff on Kneel Before Zod more when I read the If You Find This #1. And then I realized what was going on. And his storytelling is just fantastic. And I know he's a Brit, a limey Brit, but what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Spectrograph #1 comes out for Distillery. James Tynion IV. Please come in and buy it. I've got a ton of them. This is a variant cover. It's the one I liked. The art's by Christian Ward.
Oh, nice.
What can I say about this book? Let me tell you, a lot of it is this woman talking to another woman on a phone as she's driving towards this meeting, having left her kid in the frickin' stroller in her apartment or house or whatever the hell. Now, can you go and do it? You've been calling me this, all the blah, blah, blah. And it's just like this really long conversation that's building up to this meeting. And when you get to the meeting, it's really kind of creepy. But I feel like so much time is getting wasted that I don't know if you're really pounding the 3 pages, not 20, that type of thing. But it did look good. And it's magazine sized. What? And the last book of the evening for tomorrow is King Arthur and the Knights of Justice. Nice. Holy shit. Let me tell you, I have the author of this book on the show right now, and I think it's time that we interview him. Oh, Joe Corallo, your book, King Arthur and the Knights of Justice, is coming out tomorrow, April 24th, 24. 4/24/24. It's like it was planned. Wouldn't that be awesome if that was like some sort of like Arthurian lore or something at the same time?
Yeah, would be.
All right, so firstly, who's publishing this comic book? This graphic novel?
It's Mad Cave Studios through their Maverick YA imprint.
All right, so let's talk about Mad Cave for a second. You've been working for them for a bit.
Yeah.
Doing not creator-owned characters, but characters that you're shepherding, let's say. You're putting emphasis in. So that's what Becstar was. Dahlia in the Dark, is that creator-owned, or is that again the same thing?
That was also the same sort of thing, and then King Arthur is a license, so it's a different sort of beast. But yeah.
So Mad Cave stepping up this year.
Yeah.
Like seriously, they're stepping up. What's their other thing that they have coming out that's like King Arthur? Not like King Arthur, but they have a license thing. You said Maverick is
doing what? It's they're also, I believe in May, Jordi Belair wrote the Princess Guinevere and the Jewel Riders, which is also a 41 Entertainment graphic novel. So
right. So just a question, if you know. Who gets a hold of whom in this situation? Is it Mad Cave getting a hold of 41 or vice versa? Like, did they, hey, we realize we have an anniversary coming up and we need to look for some people. I don't know how this works. I'm just asking. How do you get involved with this kind of a thing?
Sure. In this instance, I believe I wasn't there, but I believe it was Mag Cave initially reaching out. In this instance, that does not mean that is the case with any other license.
Right, sure. Now, how do you then get involved? Because I remember in Marvel, Roy Thomas was like an editor and writer, and then he was like, "Hey, we should get this this Robert E. Howard stuff and bring it on over to Marvel," and then that was a real big hit. But obviously, he'd be slated for writing those things.
Yeah, but like
how?
here,
But Joe, you're not making this thing happen. How do you get involved with this King Arthur bit?
Well, the funny thing here is it was this was Baltimore Comic-Con of 2022. So I believe this was the year it was like around Halloween. So like end of October. And I had finished scripting duties more or less on Dahlia in the Dark at that point. It had not come out yet. It wasn't out till December, but my part was done. So I was at the Mag Cave booth talking with one of the editors there, and was more or less saying like, hey, I love doing Becstar and Dahlia, and like if there's something else coming up soon and you think I'd be a good fit, I'm happy to throw my hat in the ring. And they basically were like, oh well, there might be some things coming up. Did you ever watch Princess Guinevere and the Jewel Rider? You know what that show is? And I was like, and I was the one who said to them, I don't really know that one, but when I was a kid, I used to watch this show, King Arthur and the Knights of Justice. Completely unaware of the fact that they, at that point, I believe they had the license. So it was like, oh, good to know. If something comes up, we'll be in touch. And then, like weeks later or whatever, being like, so we actually do have that. And, we were wondering if you'd be interested in, writing it and all that. So it kind of came from that.
All right. So you're a fan of this material.
Yeah, I was familiar with the show. I watched it as a kid. I watched a lot of cartoons, and this was definitely one of the cartoons I watched and had actually revisited in recent years. Like during, I think, the pandemic and stuff, that during the lockdown stuff, there was a lot of, being like, it's when I became more aware of some of like the nostalgia stuff on YouTube and like people putting together like, putting up old cartoons or like old Saturday morning cartoon blocks and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
I
mean, it's not something that exists anymore. And some of those even have commercials, and that's just really fun stuff because that seems like it's history. It's history that, is being lost, and it's a sad thing.
Yeah.
But it's not, because it's out there on YouTube. As is the Knights of Justice, King Arthur. This is holy cow. So there's not a lady of the lake, but she's a lady of the table. Is that what's going on in this one?
Yes, it's but and that's all part of the, they made these slight changes. It's the same thing though. The lady of the table, it's the same as
all right. So now we've seen in a lot of cartoons these days, we've seen the She-Ra, we've seen the He-Man not being a He-Man. I'm really just saying these things because I really don't know. Something about Morph and X-Men 97, all this stuff. Was there homosexuality in this cartoon back in the day, or are you putting your politics in this comic book that you're doing?
What was it? There was none of that in the cartoon at the time. There's a little bit of that in this book. That is actually
with you.
Yeah. No.
I am, right? You have to know I am.
Of course. But
I'm just trying to get people to subscribe or something like that.
Yeah.
Create
No,
some
for sure.
outrage against you or something.
But one thing I did want to mention with that is, what was it? When you
There's
brought up
not going to be
X-Men 97.
anybody out there saying King Arthur and the Knights of Justice has been perverted by Joe Corallo with what he's done. There won't be a soul out there that will know about any of this.
No, for sure. King Arthur is still very much into Guinevere, and their relationship is an actual part of the book. But no, it's what was it? With the X-Men 97. The worst,
Morph,
yeah. Well, here's the thing, not about that, but the worst thing about Morph in that, and a friend of mine pointed this out to me, and I can't unsee it, with what they did in like the intro. So in the intro, as I'm sure you're aware, whether you've watched the cartoon or not, it shows like the name of the mutant and then them like using their power in some way, like rogues flying and cyclopses shooting lasers and this and that. Morph is just jumping around, dodging laser blasts and not shapeshifting. And it's like, why is he the only one not using his power? And why is the only thing he doing jump? It's like, that sucks. Like, what were they thinking? It was so stupid. It's like, he's Morph, you could do that, but it's like, oh, he jumps there and he's like Colossus. Oh, he jumps there and he's Omega Red. Oh, he jumps there and he's the Silver Samurai. It's like, do something like that.
All right, so Phantomum's not only down for this book because he remembers the cartoon. He's like, Dan, pick me up one of those, Yule. He says, let's start a rumor that Joe wokeified King Arthur and the Knights of Justice. I totally agree. We can't get this in the schools. Let's do some reverse marketing right here. I think it will work totally. Maybe Joe doesn't want to hear any of this. No, I read about about half of the book, and I gotta say that I'm assuming there's an element of you're trying to retell a lot of the story that's going on in the book and also put your own little thing on it. How difficult is that when you're working with another company? How much leeway do you get when you do that stuff? I mean, are they like, oh, that is a good idea that, these two guys might be interested in each other or something like that. They'll give us is it a marketing department also that's behind that? Do you have to get involved with that? What's up with that, Joe?
Well, in this instance, like in terms of in terms of that, I mean, there was all like, I can't take credit for some of that because there was already an approved outline, like about a page worth, and some of the things that were brought up by you were that was already baked in. That was in the outline. And
so you're saying the company was kind of like dictating some of this stuff also?
Yeah. No, I mean, it was like this. There was already an approved outline from that Mad Cave and 41 Entertainment, approved. So I was given that outline. I was like, great. And then I had to make like a really full outline. But there's the basics of like, these are the things we want to see happen in this book, and the overarching sort of stuff. But there are multiple things. I don't want to spoil things because there's a bunch.
No, you don't have to. It is It is quick paced. I mean, there is a lot of. It feels like I'm reading what would have been brought out in a cartoon during that time. Like kind of like, hey, let's not explore this feeling. Let's just say it and leave it out there and never come back to it again.
Yeah.
in some ways.
No,
Like that dude that, all right, so they have this one guy that's one of the football players. He's kind of like a, you didn't give me the glory type guy, but he's still a really good guy. And then he's with these guys, and they're the Knights of Justice. And he's like, what the hell are we doing fighting for these people? We don't know anything. Their lives are on the line as far as they know. And he makes a very obvious statement as far as that's concerned. In a longer series, if this was multiple issues, I would suggest that he might be a guy that might turn or might possibly turn, or something like that. I've never watched any of the cartoons, so I have no idea. But that all feels very real. And I think you did a good job as far as that's concerned.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I'm not going to read any more though, because I'm not going to watch the cartoon either.
No, sure, but no, it's
you do say hell.
Really...
There's a couple of words in there that I'm not sure if this is entirely what they would have allowed on TV back in the day.
Yeah. No, there's definitely that. It gets a lot more violent. There's like some blood
and kill fools too, right? They didn't kill people in the cartoon. Right?
Yeah, no, they didn't kill people in the cartoon. You couldn't back then, but now
I was like, oh my god, those dudes dropped dead.
But I in the actual,
maybe I will finish it.
In the actual script that I gave to a guy who ended up working on it, there was this whole bit of. There's a whole sequence where Lord Viper and some of the other warlords like completely like they just are butchering some of the Camelot guards. But I specifically wrote, I was like, I want it done like tasteful, like with the silhouettes and the red, like in that one issue of X-Men when like Wolverine's just stabbing all those like Hellfire Club guards during the Dark Phoenix saga.
Greatest scene ever in comics. I mean,
I love that issue so much, and
I mean, that might be one of the all-time greatest scenes ever. I mean, really.
Yeah. So I've this isn't even like the first script I've made a note like that. Anytime I could reference that issue in some way, I tried to.
Oh man, it's so. Oh my god. All right, so we have to talk about John Burns someday. Maybe that issue.
Sure.
We should really. I mean, I make a plan to make that happen.
Yeah,
because I love that issue so much. I can't express to people enough how important, like 119, maybe 120 to 138. Those are the most important X-Men issues of all time.
Sure.
Maybe as far as superhero comics are concerned, of all time. Really, I mean, they're so amazing, and I mean, there's things that are off color these days in there, but it doesn't feel outdated, really.
Sure,
and they just do a really great job. I love that.
Oh yeah, I mean, really, the Proteus saga through Days of Future Past. It's like that's
you need the Proteus saga.
Does it get better than that? Like.
No. And the thing I love about Claremont's X-Men, especially going up to like through the Byrne run, is it just follows this timeline. You can almost figure out like how many days have gone by, and you're realizing that these 30 issues are just, a year and a half of this team's time. And we spent 3 years, but it's a year or whatever it is. Anyway. Enough about Claremont and Byrne. Let's talk about you and a future upcoming comic book. And I want to really hit you hard after we talk about this one.
Sure.
So, is this coming out during Pride Month? This book that you're going to be working on?
Yeah, it's June 4th. Yeah.
Okay, great. I gotta admit, I forget a lot. I forget birthdays. First Saturday in May, good marketing. Whoever did that for Free Comic Book Day did a great job, because I remember that. If my mom and dad's birthday, if they could have had the same marketing team, they never miss a gift. having said that, free you got a comic book coming out that you are, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like you are the lead creator on this book that is going to be tributing Rachel Pollack, R.I.P.
Yeah, basically, this is a collection. I believe it's going to be 96 pages, but it's reprinting Doom Patrol number 70, which is the first appearance of Coagula and Codpiece that was written by Rachel and illustrated by Scott Eaton, who still works. He's still doing stuff.
Scott Eaton's good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's real good. And then the second story in it is reprinting one of my favorite things that Rachel wrote in comics, which was Vertigo Visions, The Geek #1, which is that's an oversized one shot. So it's I believe 56 pages. So it's basically 3 issues worth of material, and it's illustrated by Mike Allred. I believe it's his first DC credit too.
Yeah.
So you're getting Scott Eaton and Mike Allred in there. 2 artists she got to work with. She got to work with Keith Giffen once too. Like she really got to work with some of the absolute best. And then there's a 10-page story that's written by me and illustrated by Rye Hickman with John Workman on the letters. We got John Workman to come back for those.
There's your lettering, Elithidor, right there.
And we are doing a new story with Coagula.
All right, so that's awesome. I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, you're a pal of Rachel Pollack's, right? You've worked with Rachel Pollack. We talked about the Never Ending Party. I was able to finish that one.
Yeah,
I just got to the point where in King Arthur, I was like, man, I just don't know if I was too old then to have known about it. You know what I mean? And it felt like it was a perfect representation of that at all. I mean,
yeah.
And I was like, there's some things like I could see me wanting to do with this, like my own fan fiction.
Oh yeah.
Where I'd be like, who's gonna be Lancelot in this situation? And is Lancelot gonna be, now we're open to all sorts of situations. It just doesn't have to be a Guinevere thing anymore. On and on. And I was a big fan of Camelot 3000 back in the day. So it totally feels like that, just not.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I didn't finish that one either. So you're right up there with Mike W. Barr on that front.
Yeah, well, thank you.
I think that's who it was that wrote that.
Come on.
Sorry, backhanded compliments and everything like that. Yeah. But I'm really excited. But I'm super excited about this Rachel Pollack tribute issue because seriously, Joe, the only thing is that how does the company see you as a writer working for them is my question to you. Do you not know? Do you not want to say? I don't want to get in trouble or anything. Nobody pays attention to this.
No, it's fine. But I will say that everyone involved in that I've talked to in putting this story together through DC have been great. I can honestly say that if I couldn't say that, I'd have just skirted the question or been like abrupt about it. But honestly, they were very willing to work with the story I had. Basically asked me what I wanted to do. As someone who knew Rachel, we're very respectful of that. I had also asked out the gate. I was like, my first choices for this story were Rye Hickman on art and John Workman on lettering, and they made it happen. So it was it was a great collaborative experience in terms of that. I basically outlined the story. I got notes, but they were all very, Andrea Shea is the editor on this, and everything was very like if the way it was presented at first didn't work, it was like, okay, well, is there a way we can do this? Or, hey, look, if we do this and you think that's going to work, that's fine. But how does this sound? And like, and it was also very much being open to me pushing back on something if I wanted. Like there were multiple opportunities where it was like, hey, we're thinking of doing this, but like if you don't think that's what's best, like let us know. And so yeah, it was really I'm excited for people to read this because I genuinely think that when people actually get to check this out, they will be impressed by how deep we go into Rachel's run in this, and like the really sort of deep cuts that happen in this. That's something that DC was interested in having done. So
Yeah, I don't understand how DC hasn't talked. I don't know, maybe they don't. Maybe they do, and you're like, "Fuck you."
Mm-hmm.
But I don't understand. Like, I mean, of all, I mean, I joke every time you come on about when are you getting that Legion run? When are you going to get to do a Legion story? Something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe DC's never going to go back to Legion. I think those people have to really understand that. If it isn't like a superstar coming on and doing something, it's just not going to happen. But even still, you're understanding. I mean, you're younger than me, but you hang around all these old crusty veterans. But we've already heard at the beginning of the show of all the wonderful, fantastic things that a young person gets to do.
Yeah.
And you're bringing this wonderful thing into the comic books, understanding that the creators want you to do this. How? Am I not seeing more Joe Corallo work that isn't involved with the tribute issue? I just don't understand this. I mean, especially from DC, because if what every negative Nancy out there says is true about the companies, you check all the boxes. I mean, all but one. But
Sure.
I mean, seriously, what's the deal?
No,
Sorry,
I mean,
said that.
No, it's fine.
Maybe you don't pay for shit. You can say that.
I think I can't go into anything beyond this, but like
right.
I wouldn't be.
I want to be your booster. You know what I mean? I want to be the Joe Corallo booster for those companies.
I
hey, look,
appreciate
this
that.
guy knows his fucking shit.
Mm-hmm.
He has already exhibited he can do this stuff. He's done all the paint by number shit you gotta fucking do. What's the deal? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it. I think I'll be excited to hear your thoughts on this story when you get a chance to read
I'm
it.
excited because I think this is the thing. Like, this is like they've gotta figure things out. I mean, everybody's complaining about everybody that's working in the industry. I mean, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's always been this way. It just feels louder than it ever was. Social media, et cetera, et cetera.
I'm looking forward to what's after social media at this point, or social media as we know it. Because it really, I don't know. There's like, have you ever like talked to someone and they're just like, oh my God, did you see the TikTok with that lady? And then she's screaming about this one thing, and then they memed it, and then it was on Jimmy Kimmel, and we're still talking about it 2 weeks later. And then she hired like a PR agent, and now she's like doing this like new thing, and now she's doing like Tide commercials that are exclusive on Tubi. And you're just like, I don't know any. Not only did I not know any of that, nothing that was said enriched my fucking life at all. All you did was waste my time. You exclusively took precious moments of life away from me. why would you ever do that? Like, I'm so ready for this to just be done.
I really appreciate everybody that tunes in here, by the way. No, man, it's all. I mean, yes, I do know of what you're talking about. I see that. Hey, man, it used to be "Where's the beef?" You know, we used to know that lady's name. Now she's dead. It's the same as everybody else.
Yep.
Jill's making me watch this. Well, she didn't make me. I say that. Avenue Q, I think it is. It's an HBO program, and they're on a no, not Avenue. It's a space station thing. It's something. Something. It makes me think of that play. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's got House in it. Whoever that guy is, and they're hurtling off into space, and it's like this cruise. Everybody's like having a great time, and one of the guys, I think an SNL guy or somebody like that, is like a conductor. He's the Julie of the Love Boat. And he has to talk to everybody, and he's losing it. I don't know what. Thank you, Jill. Avenue 5 is what it's called. And she's like saying how, holy shit, you can't even watch fucking Westworld on HBO Max now, or whatever the fuck it's called. You can't watch these other programs. We better watch this one before it's over. And I'm watching this, and it's like, that guy just makes me think of what you were saying. It's all very useless, or at least what you say makes me feel like that. Thank you very much. When are we going to get that comic book?
God, but no.
So anyway, like, hey man, if a comic book company is like, hey man, I want a guy that like pays attention to the history and makes a logical assessments of those histories, and will do what we want them to do. Why don't you gotta get Joe, this guy? I need some Doom Patrol from you. I mean, that's obvious that they should be doing. I mean, seriously. All right, we got this little heat. We got this Rachel Pollack. We're gonna exhume her corpse and all that. We can't Grant Morrison anymore, but who can we get? I think we should get Joe Corallo, because this motherfucker knows his shit. He's friends with and will be accepted by so many people that Doom Patrol might actually be a hit for the first time.
I mean, there's.
I said for the first time.
Yeah,
John Byrne couldn't do it.
Yeah, Byrne
with his
couldn't
fucking
do it,
monkey.
No. But no, I mean, of course, I'd love, getting to do more with them. But I don't know what the plans are or anything like that, and I don't want to be like going out there saying that, and like someone I know like has their pitch in for a Doom Patrol series and is like, this Joe guy is gonna try.
This Joe
like,
motherfucker.
This
Joe
not looking for
motherfucker.
anyone. I'm
James Tynion. Who does this Joe motherfucker think he is? You know what I mean? Yeah. No, come on. No, but I mean, with all the what do you think about these comic books that are coming out? We've got a relaunch of X-Men. We've got a brand new Ultimate Universe, but it's DC, called Absolute Universe, so it's characters that don't really matter. We not only that, but DC is also going to be doing a year-long Gotham by Gaslight, which is going to kick off all their Elseworld titles. Again, comics that don't matter. Meanwhile, they're going to be having Batman and all the events that are going to go on that lead up into all the other stuff. And then that's not even talking about Blood Hunt. And as Lane Kramer likes to talk about, there's 65,000 variants or tie-in issues. Comic books aren't as exciting as they used to be. How do you find excitement in not only the ones that you're reading, but the work that you're putting in? How do you do that?
No, I mean, I'm always like excited with the work I'm doing, at least, and I think a lot of it for me, and I believe this is another thing that helps you, and I think a lot of other people we know is I don't exclusively read the big two by like a mile. I read so many different
Right.
kinds of things. I love French graphic novels. I think they put out a lot of really good stuff. I just read this graphic novel at NBM, put it out, I think, a couple of years ago or something. Beauty. Coruscant, I'm trying, or Kirosant, is the art team that does that. They also did, was it Beautiful Darkness and Satania? That are two other graphic novels I really like, and Beauty was absolutely incredible. I highly recommend that book. I read through a friend of mine, Matt Emmons, Council of Frogs. That was a lot of fun. I'm reading through the Gardener right now by Matt. But yeah, so all
There
of that
are
is
a
helpful.
lot of there are so many, I mean, what people think are independent books are not independent books. They
Yes,
think like
absolutely.
Image or Valiant or whatever their company is now, or Dark Horse and things like that. And maybe even Fantagraphics, but there's so much small press and things that aren't necessarily crowdfunded that are out there for people to see, and other companies that are producing stuff. There's a lot of things that are out there that a comic book fan can cling to for sure, right?
Oh yeah. But yeah, and then like with that kind of stuff, it's like I don't know, it always turns into like for me, I'll just sort of, read what I want. Um if once you get so caught up into the tie-ins, I mean, like I think there are just some people are built for that. I think there
Mhm.
are there are people who enjoy that, or they need to collect everything. I'm not like that, so it doesn't affect me in that same way. So I'm a lot more like, I'll read what I like, and if I don't like it, I won't read it, and I don't let it sort of linger beyond that. Like I understand there's people who are all for nothing, and I get that. And I'm sure I'm like that with certain things. I'm just not thinking of them off the top of my head, but where it's like, look, I'm either reading the whole like every tie-in or I'm not reading this event at all. And I don't know. I guess they have to keep making those calculations if there are more people in the direct market that feel that way or the other way. I don't know.
I saw a very interesting article written about some survey that was going on, and talking about the book industry. And I think I might have actually read something like this before you came on in another episode. And they were talking about how many hits there are, and this is like real publishing, not comic books, but novels and stuff like that.
Sure.
And how many you can expect. And they put all their money into so many different authors, hoping that one is going to be the hit that's going to be able to survive all the people that they're paying.
Yep.
And then you have, of course, your very important people like a Britney Spears doing a tell-all or something like that. Something like that. Very important people. It's never been an easy. Like I personally always knew that wanting to be a writer meant that I was never going to be making a ton of money, or the potential for making a ton of money was never going to be there. You write because you have to. You write because I don't know. There's something that drives you. How does a person make a living being a writer, Joe?
I mean, it is something you have to enjoy doing. Like there's a few ways to do it, right? It's like, do you want to be a writer or do you have a story you want to tell? And I think people need to also figure that out. It's like, because if this is more you have a story to tell, or there's a story you want to tell, it should really probably be looked at more as a hobby in that particular instance. Because if you want to write for a living, you have to be able to write all sorts of stuff. I mean, I write business copy, like blog copy for businesses and websites and things like that, because I like writing enough where I would rather be writing than most other things. So I still find that joy in like, oh, I get to sit down and, figure out like, oh, how can I make, this business sound appealing, or how can I add to this promotion? And that's something I can do and be interested and engaged in. And look at it like a job, and you look at sort of the rate for the post and you time it, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to sit down, and if I spend an hour doing this and this is my rate for the post, I'm making that much an hour, that's worth it. That kind of stuff. You have to be able to, I think for a writer, at least this is how I take it, and I think a bunch of other people do too, but it's like, you have to view every idea and pitch and thing thrown at you from like different editors as, a challenger or a puzzle you're trying to solve. You need to be in a position where, if an editor, reaches out and is just like, hey, we need someone to do a Flash story, but Flash, you can't use his rogues gallery. It's just we're bringing back the Squid from Batman's rogues gallery. We haven't used him, but he's showing up in a new cartoon, and we gotta push him. So you're gonna we need a 3-issue arc of the Flash dealing with the Squid, and we'll also let you use a couple of characters from the Gotham scene, but we're gonna have to run it past the editors. So whoever you have in mind, have like 2 or 3 backups, because we might not be able to get that cleared until the script's written, and write it in a way where you can swap them out if you need them. And at the end of the story, we need the Squid to be in Arkham, or like whatever it is. And like, you have to, if you're a writer, you have to view that as, okay, got it, that's the information, now I'm plugging it in and I'm making it work. If you're not a writer,
yeah, and then all of a sudden you have a King Arthur book.
Out, right? Exactly. But but yeah, it's like that. You have to look at it like that, and not like whatever your personal opinions on some of these ideas are, whether you personally love the idea or hate the idea, that's not what's important. What's important is doing the best you can with whatever it is. And if you can do that, then maybe you're a writer,
I think that's really good, because a lot of people are out there talking about what they think other people's jobs are. You know what I mean? And they don't realize that there's so much other things that go into it, and that what you're doing might not be, everybody. Oh man, people make a lot of assumptions. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
And they're not shy about talking about what their assumptions are, and they might not know a damn bit of what's going on. And I've gotten caught up in that. You hear stuff and you're like, whatever it might be. And the simple thing is that comic books is comic books, and very few people make a lot of money doing that and anything that has to do with writing. And the ones that do are the ones that write, and you might not even know what they're doing. You know what I mean? It's like everybody thinks everything's always so very glorious. Sure. And it isn't. It's like, I gotta somehow those comic books get on the shelves. I don't know. Maybe it's me putting them up there.
There you go. It's the comic fairy drops them off while you're sleeping.
I love those cartoons where the old baker is tired and he goes to sleep, and all the little elves come out and make shoe pies and stuff like that.
Yes.
Or there's a cobbler and making tennis shoes and boots and all that other stuff. Those are great cartoons.
Yeah.
Jill says the program's been canceled, but it's worth watching in her opinion. And I agree. It was very funny. It's easy to make money as a writer. Just sell drugs.
Oh, well, it's
So that's
tough
the
now
real
because
question.
so many drugs are legal now. It's like it's hard to break
Ah,
into that
tell me
business,
about it.
Right?
Oh, goodness gracious. All right, we're almost at the end of the show. I don't know how I make it as a comic book retailer, but I always look forward to doing the show, even though I dread a lot of it. It was very easy to have Joe on and talk to him about anything.
Thank you.
Especially when you took that first 30 minutes with your fucking awesome life, man. Going out and seeing shows I don't know nothing about.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's great. These are all my patrons that give me money. And sometimes I run videos for them specifically, but very rarely. I also have a YouTube channel. That's this one. And there's a join thing. And then sometimes I give the same video that the patrons get. That's the deal there. Joe, what else do you have coming down the line? What are you gonna like hint at? Are you doing something with Perch? Like seriously, he's gonna be doing this publishing thing. Is it just like a self-publishing and Larry King bit, or are you involved?
What was it? I'm definitely I am looking over Larry's stuff, the Gemini Jump stuff, and doing some cleanup just in terms of prepping it for another edition and things like that. I don't know how much I'm supposed to talk about that, but yes, it's so I am doing that.
This is the one, everybody. Clip this bit. Let Larry know.
But no, it's and hopefully we're doing some more stuff too, but I don't have anything definitive yet. I am working on this horror one shot. I don't know exactly when it's gonna come out. But like it's a 24-page comic. The first 5 pages are completely done, and the 4 pages
We're
after
looking at
that
a Mad Cave, or is this a crowdfunded situation?
This is probably going to be crowdfunded or another small press. Like it'll be a different sort of thing. What was it? So there is that. There's I do have a couple of pitches I'm figuring out, and might pitch a couple of things at C2E2 this weekend. I am actively writing like outside of the one shot, my part's mostly done with that. I'm still doing some dialogue for it. So I've got that, and then there's 3 other things I'm in the middle of writing. One other thing I'm in the middle of editing. At least one thing, maybe some more, but yeah. So I've got a bunch of things going on in addition to the stuff we're talking about.
I've got it. The mainstream books I want to see you work on. If I was at Marvel, I'd want to see you work on, and this is based off Dahlia in the Dark. I want to see you do a Punisher, going back to Frank Castle type situation. If it was a DC, obviously we're talking like a Legion situation. But if not, something that maybe like touches off with the Legion, maybe like a Booster Gold or a I don't know. Maybe they'll want to give like one of the characters a something.
There was like
these would be the ones I'd want to like get you on board for. Maybe like a Superboy, so Superboy can be involved in the Legion. You can deal with that whole Gossamer bit too while we're at it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I also I also feel like nobody does anything with what was it? Some of the other Starmen, like the Prince Gavin Starman. I wouldn't mind doing something with him. Things like that.
Well, we just had that Tom King one that came out where he was dealing with the alien guy, right?
Yeah, but that was the McHale Starman, right?
Right. I forget the names, but yes.
It's okay.
Anyway, too much drink, too many comic books, and probably a little bit too much ganja also. Thank you to all my patrons. Thank you to everybody watching. Thank you to Joe for joining us. I appreciate everybody for giving us a like and all that other stuff that people do. Anything you want to say to everybody before you leave, Joe, before we get out of here?
Just that, hey, check out King Arthur. It's out this week. The Rachel Pollack tribute is out June 4th. I'll be at C2E2 this weekend. I'll be at Fourth World on Free Comic Book Day on Long Island. I will be at Cradle later on Long Island. It's the weekend of the 18th and 19th in May at the Cradle of Aviation. I'll be at Heroes Con, so there's opportunities to see me.
So, what drink would you most like someone to bring you as you're sitting at one of those conventions / Free Comic Book Day signings or something like that? You looking for a Red Bull? You looking for a Coca-Cola? Looking for a beer? Anything in particular?
I mean, anything in particular? A coffee or a Jameson and ginger ale, probably.
So Jameson and ginger ale and coffee, cream and sugar.
Cream and sugar works, yeah.
I usually say I like it to look like Halle Berry.
Okay.
You want a little darker than that?
Probably a little darker, but not that much. But no. But yeah, no. I think I see a White Russian in the chat. White
That's
Russians
right.
are always
Russian,
fun time.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, that's when Warren Ellis came and signed. There were plenty of people that were happy to go and get him whatever Red Bull and cigarettes or whatever he needed. So we should get Joe on that train. Get people bringing you the drinks that you need. So thank you very much, everybody. See you next Tuesday. Joe, thank you very much. See you on the other side.